Hello there, friends and followers, and welcome to this Explain 11 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at xEnviro version 1.10. xEnviro is an innovative environment engine for Explain 11, and the new upgrade is available free of charge for existing owners of the product. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at how xEnviro depicts weather and represents the overall atmospheric conditions. We are also going to be taking a look at the settings as well as performance. So without further ado, let's get started. We are currently situated at Seattle International Airport in the state of Washington in the US of A. And as you can see here, the depiction of clouds and the overall atmospheric conditions is done very, very well in this version of xEnviro. As you can see here, the clouds do look very realistic, at least from this angle. I do love the haze in the distance. The sky color is quite nice, and we can see also the reflection of the clouds on the ground. We can probably see this a lot better if we move the camera up. As you can see here now, the shades from the clouds on the ground is looking very, very good indeed. The overall scene, I think, is extremely convincing, and the lighting is done quite well. So what we're going to do is we're going to travel upwards, and we're going to take a look at how things change here. As you can see, I'm not sure what this artifact here is, but it's quite annoying. But as you can see now, this is a really nice scene. Very, very well done. Very realistic, at least below the clouds. Let's go ahead and take a look at things from above the clouds. This is what things look like above the cloud, and as you can see from a distance, this is a very convincing scene in my view. I think the clouds are done quite well. From a distance they look gorgeous, but they don't look as good as you come close to the cloud. As you can see here, there's this pixelated area here. I'm not sure what this is. They do mention something about it in the forums, but from a distance, this is a very realistic and very convincing, highly immersive scene. I don't like the clouds from this view. So if you look at the clouds from the top, they kind of look funny, and you see all these pixels. I'm not sure what this is, man, but it's really, really annoying. But from the distance here, you can see that this is a nice scene. And if we change the time, you will notice that the sky colors are superb in xEnviro. The reflection of the light on the clouds is done quite well in my view, but those pixels need to go for sure. Here's what things look like during nighttime. I think they've done a really good job overall in really depicting weather and depicting the clouds and the atmospheric conditions. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go to an area where there is some rain, and how about we head over to Stewart Airport in British Columbia, Canada. We are now situated at Stewart Airport, British Columbia, Canada, and the rain effect you see on this default Cessna 172 is that of xEnviro. We'll take a look at the settings in a minute, but let me show you around. This is what things look like here below the clouds. It's pretty cloudy, and the scene is quite convincing. If we go up here, and as you can see, the tips of the mountains showing through the clouds, the coverage of the clouds is superb. But the actual clouds in this specific scene, those pixels again are just really annoying. The overall scene, I think, is quite convincing. If we can just improve those clouds a little bit, I think this is going to be probably the best weather engine for X-Plane. I love how the cloud coverage is extended all the way to the end of the horizon. The tips of the mountains showing here through the clouds is done superbly in this version of xEnviro. If we change the time here a little bit, again, if you can observe the reflection, the light reflection on the clouds. Again, it's done very, very well in this version. A very convincing scene, but those clouds need work for sure. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the aircraft and we're going to take it for a short flight. The weather conditions, of course, are not suitable for this kind of aircraft. Nevertheless, we are just testing xEnviro, so we can get away with it, hopefully. Beacon, let's see. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to release the parking brake, and we're going to take off. Now this is a nice effect. As you can see, the raindrops moving upwards, and they kind of reduce a bit in size to simulate the wind effect on the raindrops. All right, let's take off here. So we continue to climb now, and the rain, I think the rain effects are okay. They're not, again, they're not super realistic, but they look pretty good. Let's take a look at the external view. So as we turn, as you can see, the raindrops will change direction. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the aircraft to 14,000 feet, and let's take a look at things from that altitude. Okay, we are cruising at about 11,000 feet, almost 12,000 as a matter of fact, and this is what things look like above the clouds now here in British Columbia. A very nice scene. Somewhat convincing. If we can lose those artifacts here, I think this would make for a very convincing scene. It would look really, really good. I think the clouds shape is something really I haven't seen in X-Plane before. They look absolutely gorgeous from a distance, at least. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look here. And here's what things look like from the external view. And let's go ahead and change the time a bit here. As you can see, again, the reflection of the light on the clouds is done quite well. But those pixels, those artifacts are just terrible. Really, that needs fixing. Let's take a look at this side. And I like how the sun blur, see that? That's really nice. The reflection from the sun on the clouds is superb in my view. Very, very nice indeed. We're going to pass through a few clouds here to look at the cloud effect, or the fade effect as we move through the clouds. Again, the scene is a nice scene, and as you can see, going through the clouds is very, very smooth. The fading effect is done quite well. What I don't like are those pixels. They look just terrible, and something definitely needs to be done. I'm not sure if everyone experiences this, or is it something indigenous to my machine, but let me tell you, it looks awful, and that needs fixing for sure. One of the new nice things in xEnviro is the depiction of seasons, specifically snow. So if there is snow in your weather METAR, xEnviro will be able to depict that, and you can control the intensity of the snow through the settings menu, which we will be taking a look at in just a moment. Let us now take a look at the settings control panel of xEnviro, and for those of you who are users of xEnviro will notice that some sliders have been introduced, some others have been deprecated in this version of xEnviro. Very quickly, my settings are as follows. For the weather settings, I have it on real mode, cloud settings on optimum, effect settings on full with the exception of lens flare, which I don't like, and the sound is on maximum. Now, a word of caution for those of you with lower end and maybe mid-range machines, this version of xEnviro is performance hungry, and even on my machine it really brings it down to about 30 frames. On average I get 40 in any setting, in any airport, and in really involved airports with complex aircraft, this frame rate will really suffer and will really go down. So if you have a low-end machine, or if you're having performance issues as it is, I do not recommend that you get xEnviro if you don't have it today. If you do have xEnviro, please do install it and try it out. Try out the sliders here and try to hit a sweet spot. I've tried disabling everything, and it did not really have an effect on the performance. It still suffers in very complex scenes. What I do want to show you here is if we go down here, and we have the snow slider now set to maximum, okay? So if snow exists in your METAR, you'll be able to see snow, and you can control the coverage of the snow, which is really, really cool. As you can see here, that is really cool. So now you can start experiencing seasons, at least winter and summer. That's something I really have a lot of appreciation for. So far we have seen the in-cloud effect, the windshield effect, volumetric we haven't seen. The wet airdrome surface effect is something we haven't seen yet. I'm not sure if there are certain airports that will support this, but we're going to head over to a rainy area and see if there's any effect on the surface. Draw snow in mountains. I'm not sure if we've seen this. I'm not sure what this diffraction spike is, but I believe it is the spikes we see in the snow, like the towering clouds, or I could be mistaken. I don't know. This is pretty much really the settings. So what I want to do now is I want to go to perhaps a rainy airport, and we're going to fly in a 737 to take a look at the different effects and how things really look like flying a jetliner. Okay, I have selected an area where there is heavy precipitation now, and this is the volumetric lighting, which I think looks really nice. Yeah, very, very nice effect here. I have disabled the xEnviro rain effects because we have the Zebo rain effect here, which looks great. And let me actually show you what it looks like with the xEnviro rain effect enabled. So we'll come here, windshield effect. So it will enhance it, if not anything else. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that now. And let's add some, there we go. I think that looks good. Yeah. Again, this is how things look like. These are the volumetric lights again. I think they look absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're going to take off, and I still can't see the, the wet runways. I guess there are certain airports. All right, release parking brake, and let's go.
$80 knots. Positive rate.
Right, gears going up.
400.
How about we change the
1,000.
yeah, there we go. So we're flying through some adverse weather conditions here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now cruising at approximately 32,000 feet. Frames are good here. Of course, there isn't any scenery to load. So this is a fairly simple scene, but look at those clouds. They look absolutely amazing, minus those pixels, of course. I really like what the guys at xEnviro have done in this version. Again, as you can see, the clouds extend all the way to the end of the horizon. A very convincing scene, really, but it still needs work. Let's go ahead and change the time a bit here. Very smooth transition of the time. The lighting effect on the clouds is absolutely amazing. Very, very nice indeed. The sky colors are wow. Look at that. Look at that scene. Let's take a look from the outside. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to change the altitude. We're going to...
1,000 to go.
That's what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to go through the clouds. So I'm going to... Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pass through the clouds and see the effect. Again, you can see those artifacts. And as we get closer to the clouds, you can see what happens to the frames as well. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to go through the clouds. The clouds themselves, I think, look okay. They look pretty good. I've never seen anything like this in X-Plane before, so very innovative product, but I think still needs work. And it has definitely the potential of being the very best weather environment engine for X-Plane. Look at that. Just really, I love how the light reflection on the clouds is done. And we're going to now start going through the clouds. You know what? Let me add some background light here. There we go. Man, they got to do something about this. Okay, here we go. Very smooth indeed. Look at that. Beautiful. Just really beautiful. All right, let's change the time here. Okay. So this is probably a bit more convincing because we can't really see those pixels as prominently as we did when the time of day is nearing dusk. But I really like this in-cloud fading effect. Let's go ahead and descend now. And hopefully we won't hit the ground. Watch the frames. Look at that. There we go. Look at that. Very, very smooth transition coming out of the clouds. Very nice indeed. But look at the frames now. Wow. Look at that. A nice scene though. So yeah, so major performance degradation here with this version of xEnviro. And as you can see, there's nothing there. It's just desert land. But the performance really, really suffers with those clouds. Yeah, definitely still flyable in my view. But if you have a lower end or even a mid-range machine, I definitely do not recommend that you get xEnviro. Here are my concluding remarks on xEnviro. Without a doubt, xEnviro is an advanced environment engine for X-Plane 11. This new version 1.10 has taken an extremely long time to come about, but it's finally here, and those of you who've made an investment in xEnviro in the past can finally enjoy it in this version of X-Plane. The new features in xEnviro, in my view, are very innovative, and I haven't seen really anything like this before in X-Plane. The volumetric lights, the volumetric clouds, the representation of weather, and the overall atmosphere are simply outstanding. While this new version of xEnviro brings a lot of new features to the flying experience in X-Plane 11 and represents atmospheric conditions quite well, it does suffer in terms of performance quite considerably. If you have a low or even mid-range machine, I definitely do not recommend xEnviro, as it will definitely bring your machine to its knees and you will not be able to enjoy the flying experience. Setting performance aside, can we consider xEnviro perfect? Absolutely not. We cannot consider it perfect. It is far from perfect, but it is far better than the previous version. As you can see here, there are some things here that needs fixing. But yes, it is innovative. It is far better than the previous version, but still needs work, especially in the performance department. Well, folks, this pretty much brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that this was an insightful and useful video, and that will help you decide whether xEnviro is for you or not. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.